Just really quickly, a bunch of Democrats.
Yeah, because you didn't get enough chance since I've been gone spewing this nonsense. I'm now back to correct the record that people need to hear. Every single
Welcome
thing,
back, Greg.
No, everything you said does not matter. Because it doesn't. Because everything you mentioned are the consequences of the. Oh, you can go ahead and scoff. How did we get here?
Greg Gutfeld goes absolute scorched earth on Jessica Tarlov after she tries to defend the indefensible once again. This time, she attempts to justify the violence against the ICE agents in Minnesota by twisting the narrative, using emotional sound bites and fabricated outrage to distract from the truth. Let's get into it.
Look, Jessica, I wanted to bring some primary material for you. Tim Walz decided to lie. He said he works with ICE. We don't let anyone out on the streets. But I brought some pictures for you of some of the guys that have been let out on the streets. This guy, his name is German, homicide, negligent manslaughter. Not sure why he was let out. Edwin, lewd or lascivious acts with a minor. Lenny, sex offense against a child. These guys let out on the street. Added when you release these guys on the street and don't work with Trump.
Absolutely. I have said this consistently from the beginning, that I think that you could take a lot of heat or attention off of your cities if you hand over the worst first, which is how this was supposed to go. The problem is that it hasn't been executed like that. And the idea that we are just going to move past what has unfolded over the last few weeks, including what happened to Renee Good getting 3 bullets in her, knowing that she was alive for 8 minutes after that happened but didn't receive medical care, or what happened to Alex Pretti over the weekend, and start talking again about how Democrats are the problem and it's all of you guys organizing online and your vast conspiracy to make sure that all the bad hombres can stay here. We don't want bad hombres to stay here. We want regular hombres who may have entered illegally but are living good, productive lives in America, a lot of them with American children, to be able to stay, and also for American citizens to not be detained and also to not be shot.
You heard her. She wants the people who came here illegally to stay. And you see how she tried to slide in that most of them have children that are U.S. citizens? I wonder how that happened. And then, of course, she just had to push the narrative that Pretti and Good were just innocent bystanders. Jessica did nothing here but just prove herself to be nothing more than a left-wing talking head. And it's really hard to believe that she even thinks before speaking. It's like everything that comes out of her mouth has one sole purpose, and that's to protect the narrative. It's always the same predictable talking points, and the playbook never changes. Lie, deny, excuse, defend, and deflect. Every single time.
Greg, not very nice.
That's not very nice. What did you just do? Excuse me. Nothing you said matters. Every single thing.
Welcome back, Greg.
No, everything you said does not matter. Because it doesn't. Because everything you mentioned are the consequences of the. Oh, you can go ahead and scoff. How did we get here?
So let me just pause it here real quick, because this is where Jessica's argument completely crumbles. Greg just asked the one question that no one on the left really seems to care about, which is, how did we get here? And I believe in order to get the answer to that question, we have to go back to the beginning of how it all started. So if you would, please travel back in time with me.
I would, in fact, make sure that we immediately surge to the border. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come. There are going to be no deportations in the first 100 days of my campaign.
Let me get that right. You are going to freeze deportations?
Freeze deportations for the first 100 days.
He signed a proclamation effective immediately, halting further funding or construction of the previous administration's border wall and terminating the so-called national emergency used to wastefully divert billions for wall construction.
In Eagle Pass, Texas, where just moments ago, Customs and Border Protection cut a hole through the concertina wire that has been stretched by Texas DPS along the border there to allow migrants to come through. It was initially a group of about 60 to 70 people. It swelled to some 300 very, very quickly.
The floodgates are literally open here in the Tucson sector, and there are 141 different gates along the southern border, and the majority of those are open, and the majority of those are open by the federal government.
The Biden administration is quietly loosening immigration policies before Trump takes office. This, according to the New York Post. It reports the administration is testing a new app that will allow illegal migrants to bypass in-person check-ins at their local ICE office.
In their last weeks, the Biden administration is set to auction off sections of the border wall before President Trump takes office. Minimum opening bid starts at $5 for 20 tons of taxpayer-funded steel.
Ultimately, this is why so many Americans turned against the Democratic Party. They created this crisis, then told you that their suffering wasn't real or significant, and then lied and said the border was secure and the border was closed. And now, for one last twist of the knife, the Biden administration is practically giving away the border wall materials, pennies on the dollar, only out of spite, all while claiming to be so virtuous protectors of democracy and the rule of law. They embarked on one witch hunt after another. It's been 9 long years. Get Trump, get Trump, get Trump, and exclaimed that no one's above the law. And then Biden pardoned his own son, Hunter.
And now that we have our answer, let's get back to this well-deserved proverbial beatdown that's about to take place.
Nothing you said matters. Every single
Welcome
thing,
back, Greg.
No, everything you said does not matter.
It does
because
to millions of
it doesn't. Because everything you mentioned are the consequences of the.
what
You go ahead and scoff. How did we get here? Pull back. How did we get here? An open border that let millions in, and you guys didn't give two
Alex
F's
Pretti
about. Okay,
snuck right through that border.
All right. We had dozens of deaths where you didn't say shit. Jocelyn Nungary, Laken Riley, Rachel Morin, Molly Tibbetts. I'm going to just do it because this is just, I can't believe that we're still talking about this stuff. Here's 3 pages of women who have been murdered by illegal aliens in the last 7 or 8 years. The 7 or 8 years that we have been here talking about this and mocked over it. When we showed the embassy, showed the border being overrun and people laughed at us. And now you're here. It's like you're the maid trying to clean up a mess and somebody there is staring at you going, oh, you got to clean it up better. No, you made the mess. This is the Democrat Party's mess that we're trying to clean up. And you're saying, wow, these ICE agents are using terrible language. We don't care. I'm bored by this. I'm absolutely bored by this. I'm bored by the Nazi stuff. I'm bored by the concerned people in the media. They were not concerned when innocent women were raped and murdered. They didn't care about the 50 who died when they were incarcerated under Obama. They didn't care about the 27 or 30 that were shot under Obama. But now they care now. You deserve no attention on this. You deserve no credibility on this. It's actually comical because here's my feeling. It seems like you're ready for another one. You had Good, that went for a couple of weeks. You had this guy, went for a week or so. You're going to need a third one. This is what this is about, because this is what creates the motivation for this drama. This drama that could have been prevented if you guys just listened to the sensible people. Why is it that the cities that aren't sanctuary aren't having any violence? Why is it that the rate of violence in what's the name of the city? Minneapolis is 5 to 7 times higher than cities that are 3 or 4 times larger? Why is that? You guys are always feigning this performative ignorance since you don't understand things. You never explain your own ignorance. Why is there so much violence in Minneapolis and not in Texas? Well, see, there are different people. There are people who, when they hear an awful crime, when Molly Tibbetts is murdered, they think of their wife, they think of their kids, they think of their sister, they think of their mother. What do Democrats think about? There's a step before they even think about their family. They think, how does it affect my public persona? How does it affect my potential politically? How do I deal with this so that I get instant gratification and empathy? We don't think like that. We don't care. You can call me a monster that's saying all these people will get deported. I don't care. I don't care about any of this performance anymore, Jessica. It's done. And you know what? Neither does Trump. People are voted for the law. They want the law. If you want to cry about murders and rapists, do it on your own time.
Just really quickly, a bunch of Democrats.
Yeah, because you didn't get enough chance since I've been gone spewing this nonsense. I'm now back to correct the record that people need to hear.
Jessica sits up there and says that Democrats agree with ICE operations to remove the worst of the worst, the so-called bad hombres. But if that was true, then why is it that every time ICE tries to detain these bad hombres, they're called Nazis and bombarded with protesters and agitators, which in turn make it extremely difficult to get the job done? These agents are receiving death threats, and they're even being assaulted. That goes beyond peaceful protesting. And if you assault an officer, or anyone for that matter, that's a crime. So it seems like we have criminals protecting criminals. At the end of the day, if you enter the country illegally, that's a crime. If you assault an officer, that's a crime. And you can't say that you want criminals gone, but turn around and protest whenever they're being removed. If they truly supported removing these criminals, they wouldn't interfere or impede in these federal operations. So if my calculations are correct, then somebody's lying. Jessica even admitted out loud that the people who came here illegally should be allowed to stay, once again ignoring the fact that illegal entry is a crime. But according to her, deporting criminals is extreme and inhumane. So what's the point of having immigration laws if they're not going to be enforced? And where was all this resistance under Obama? I remember CNN doing ride-alongs with ICE under Obama. Tom Homan even received the Presidential Award under Obama. But now that he works for Trump, he's a Nazi. How idiotic. That makes zero sense to me. And where was all this national outrage when our innocent fellow Americans fell victim to these illegal immigrants? Oh, I forgot. Those victims didn't fit their narrative. They were inconvenient casualties for the cause. That's disgusting work. And Gutfeld was absolutely right to call Jessica out for that. Are their lives somehow less precious than Good and Pretti? I don't think so. I just feel like Greg said exactly what needed to be said in this clip. All this time, Jessica sat up there and didn't say anything. But now, all of a sudden, she wants to cry about these predators. But she had absolutely nothing to say about those who are being preyed upon. And I don't know about you, but I'm sick of the fake outrage. And yeah, Greg is right. We don't care about the name calling. Nazi, racist, bigot, those words have been used so many times in just about every situation that they've lost their meaning. And now it's just noise being spewed from talking heads like Jessica, who don't know how to engage in civil discourse. She just repeats the same old talking points over and over again. Even if the facts smacked her dead in the face, she would still lie, deny, deflect, and spin the narrative back around to the main agenda. Orange man bad. But then again, that's just how I feel about it. I would really like to know your thoughts on this, so leave them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.